All right. Good afternoon. I'm looking at the time here. Good afternoon here, at least Central Time Zone. Same for much of the U.S. here, other than on the West Coast. Still a good morning for all of you here, and happy to have this live demo that we've got. We've got Jason Wells coming live from New Jersey. He's ducked out of an event to do this demo webinar here. And we're going to spend about the next 20-25 minutes just going through very cool of a tool that in Vonahi, you guys are going to really like this. I've seen the demo of this, and everyone that I've been talking about with MSPs is interested. In fact, on a previous demo that we've done on this, Jason and I were talking, and we had 83% of those that were watching said, hey, I want to find out more information because this is really cool what they've got going on, really great pricing, which I know that's a question everyone's going to ask. And so, yes, Jason is going to go over exactly the license model on this, but we're going to go through a demo first on it. So just a couple quick things. I'm Jeff Johnson. I'm going to be our host on today's call, this MSP Success webinar series. This is different. If you've been on some of the webinars that we do before, we usually do 60-minute webinars. This is straight, pure 30 minutes. It's going to be demo. You're going to see top to bottom of what Vonahi Security does here, and you'll be able to decide here live on the call of is this something that I like, don't like, want to find out more information. And very cool with it is that we've got these MSP Success Yetis here. They are true Yetis, not Fetis. MSP Success, they've got co-branded with Datto, Super MSP. At the end of this call, I'll have a way for everyone that's on here to be able to get one of these. We'll get it shipped out to you. So stay on here for the 30 minutes. We'll get that right at the end of the call. But with this, I wanted to bring on Jason here. I think Jason just to the side of me, to my left or right, depending on how it's showing up on your screen here. Jason is one of the top experts of Vonahi and their solution here, one of the product experts. He does these demos all the time. And again, I think you guys are really going to enjoy this. So Jason, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you.
All right. I appreciate the introduction. I am Jason Wells. I'm on the leadership team at Vonahi Security. So we're going to walk through what we do, how we do it, the value to you and your end clients, and then we'll walk through a demo. So I've got a quick little presentation I'm going to take us through first. So let me share my screen and start the demo here. All right. So again, we are Vonahi Security. We focus on network penetration testing. So you kind of start with what is it, you know?
Hey, Jason, real quick, are you sharing your screen? I'm not seeing it yet here.
Let me see. I thought I hit share. Here we go.
All right, there we go. It's starting up. I'm seeing the notes version there. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So start over. So yeah, we are Vonahi Security. We are focused on network penetration testing, and kind of talk to what is pen testing. So it's one of the ways you identify security gaps on a network. So vulnerability scanning is one of those ways. Penetration testing is another way. So penetration testing, we believe it's the best way to identify security gaps because we are actually replicating an attacker or a hacker attacking the network. While vulnerability scans are, a good way to do, to identify those risks, what they do is there's tens of thousands of vulnerabilities that exist out there. The scanner is going to scan that network, identify what vulnerabilities exist on that particular network, and then give you kind of the list of those and how to prioritize remediation. You can get several hundreds of those as results. The pen test, though, is going to actually replicate a hacker attack those vulnerabilities. So, I think the stat is over 90% of vulnerabilities in the market. There's no known way to exploit those. So what the pen test does, we try to exploit vulnerabilities and gain access to the network, show you which of those hundreds of vulnerabilities are actually exploitable. And not only that, once we gain access to the network, we're going to try to crack passwords, escalate user privileges. The goal is to see if we can gain access to sensitive data. So the output's going to be a report that shows you what we did, how we did it. It'll show you the evidence to prove it, and it will show you the recommendations on how to fix it. It's going to be a much smaller list of findings, but those are the ones that really can lead to the data breach, right? So again, it ultimately shows you the impact of what would happen if an attacker attacked the network. And we want to do this, on as often as we can, so that we can identify those risks, fix those issues prior to a hacker actually attacking that network. So because of this part of compliance industry regulations, they do require you to test your network for security purposes, right? And so not vulnerability scanning along with penetration testing is a compliance requirement in most industries. So finance, healthcare, technology, government, and then we're starting to see cyber insurance providers, whether you're trying to get the insurance or you're trying to get a renewal, the applications asking, are you doing penetration testing at least annually? So that's really starting to drive the need for pen testing in the market, and more specifically, really down to more of the SMBs, where we're really seeing a lot of market need for penetration testing because of this compliance issue. So currently in the market, penetration testing is delivered by security consultants doing manual activities, right? So consultants are, they're scarce, they're extremely expensive. And so penetration testing is expensive. In addition, manual testing requires, those consultants spending their time, doing testing, writing reports. So it can take weeks to months to get the final report, which really limits the value of a penetration test from a manual tester, from a security perspective, because if we test today, we don't get the results for another month or so. Really, a lot can change between the start of that and the final report, right? So if you combine those two things, it really creates a market where most organizations that are doing pen testing, it's to meet a compliance requirement. So the solution to that is automation. So through automation, we can reduce the cost, make it more affordable for organizations getting pen testing today, also make it more affordable for SMBs that may not be able to afford it right now. In addition, we'll speed up the process. So, from start to finish, it'll take 3 to 5 hours to run the test. We deliver reports within a couple of business days. So really shrinking the process of getting the results from once you start the penetration test. And then we can increase the frequency. So right now, again, most organizations doing it once a year. We want to be able to give you the ability to do penetration testing on a more frequent basis to make it more more effective from a security purpose. And so we have been able to automate, right? So we've taken our founder's decade of experience. We've built his manual process into a platform that we call Pentest. It does fully replicate a manual test. So we will deliver the exact same results as if you called us, hired us, and our testers did a manual test on their own. Our platform is going to deliver those exact same results. We oftentimes are delivering better results than other consulting companies because we can automate it. We can test everything every time. We've got a decade of experience built into the platform. We also have other team members on staff that are pen testers. They have over 13 industry certifications around offensive security, ethical hacking. All of their expertise is built into the platform, and then they spend their time doing research in order to continue to analyze, identify new exploits, identify new tools in the security community, add those to the platform so that we're ahead of the game as it relates to, methodology and our pen testing process. And then we've taken this automation and we've put it into a SaaS platform for our partners. So the platform is a multi-tenant solution. You can white label it if you want to. It's going to deliver, essentially scheduling assessments, getting results in the platform. Those results will deliver reports that they do meet any compliance requirement for network penetration testing. And so using our platform, our partners are able to win that penetration testing business out in the market. You've got relationship already. Now you're able to deliver results faster, more frequently, and at a better price point than the security consultants can do. Which means that for, majority of our partners, it's a new revenue stream for them. And if you're already delivering pen testing, it's going to be a more profitable revenue stream. So over 50% of our partners have never delivered a penetration test prior to using our platform. And in addition, from a licensing perspective, we'll talk about the model later, but essentially, you're selling one pen test to a customer. It covers the cost of the annual subscription. All the other pen tests that you deliver to your clients are, essentially no cost to you. So 100% profit as it relates to the use of the platform. So again, a new, highly profitable revenue stream for the vast majority of our partners. And so the platform essentially allows you to deliver, help your clients meet their compliance need, increase their security posture, and do that in a highly cost-effective, profitable way. So we do have over 725 partners on the platform at this point. They're delivering penetration testing to more than 5,600 clients. We've done over 17,000 penetration tests at this point with the platform as well. So, those 5,600 clients, they do cross over almost any industry. We do, the reports are delivered to meet those pen testing requirements across those industries. Let's see, that concludes the presentation part. So I'm going to get out of here and we will log into the platform here and we'll show you the platform. All right. So what we see here is the partner dashboard. So when you log in, this is what you would see. As I mentioned, you can white label this. So you can hit manage branding, hit new brand, add your logos, your colors. It's going to white label the platform. It will also white label the final reports. I do kind of like to point out here from a white labeling standpoint, a lot of our partners do choose to white label this. There is the concept of, a penetration test needing to be an independent test from that of whoever's managing the infrastructure. So a lot of our partners will first, the platform will meet any independence requirement for our partners because as you'll see, all you're doing is scheduling assessments to getting the results. You don't have any control over the penetration test. So, it really does meet that independence requirement. A lot of our partners, though, will want to use our branding on the final reports just to further, prove out that independence. So the first thing to mention before we go through the scheduling process, so we can do both external penetration testing and internal penetration testing. So the external pen test is going to replicate an attack from the outside to the publicly facing IP addresses of the client. We've got everything set up in AWS to do that. So really, it's just a quick scheduling process. It takes maybe 5 minutes to get an external pen test scheduled. We also do the internal penetration test, which is going to replicate an attack from the inside. So whether that's someone, a rogue employee, maybe someone's gained access to the physical location and plugged into the network, or an employee's fallen victim to a phishing attack, we're going to replicate that and figure out, where, if someone attacked from the inside, could they gain access to that sensitive data? How would they do that? And then provide those recommendations on how to fix those issues. In order to do that, we do need a small virtual machine agent, really just an image deployed in the network. So you can download that to a laptop workstation server within the client network. We do have partners that'll put it on something small like a Raspberry Pi, a mini PC, ship it or bring it with them. So we have a walkthrough guide there. It takes maybe 30 minutes to deploy that. So that's really outside of the scheduling. It's really the only setup, activity that your team will need to do. So let's walk through the process. So if we hit new company, we'll add a few fields. That company now will show up in your company list. And so we can manage that company from within the platform. Again, it's its own tenant. And so we can go to the company members tab here. We have the ability, you have the ability to invite the end client to the platform. They'll be able to view their results, download the reports. So you can either fully manage this or you can co-manage it in that way. We also have the ability or give you the ability to invite the end client to the platform to schedule their own assessments. So you could essentially do a full resale model as well. The assessments tab is where you are going to do most of the work. And so we'll start by scheduling an assessment. It's just 7 steps. The first step is to identify, is this an external test or an internal test? You'll pick internal. If you do choose internal, you do have to assign the agent there. The second step, we ask you to define what time of day we're allowed to test. We do recommend business hours. There are certain types of attacks that need network traffic. It is safe to run during business hours. We've done over 17,000 assessments, haven't caused a network issue. We've got safeguards built in place to prevent any like network takedown or anything like that. If you do want to do it after hours, though, you are able to do that by deselecting business hours. From a frequency standpoint, a schedule can be up to monthly, so you can pick start dates out each month. If you want to do it less frequently, you're able to do that. You could do it quarterly, semi-annual. You could, just pick start dates out in the future, right? We could pick today, even run a one-time test today. This is where we put the targets in. So this can be individual IP addresses or ranges. You can import those. If you do use ranges, you are able to exclude IPs from a range. We have notifications throughout the pen test, so you can add members of your team or the client, add their email addresses. They'll get those notifications during the test. There's a summary. It'll tell you based off what you selected when you can expect the first test to start. The last step, we ask you to acknowledge that you're authorized to test the IPs you put into the platform. And then from a reporting standpoint, as I mentioned, we'll deliver real-time results in the platform. Once the automation completes, our team does review, validate the results, really just trying to get analyze the test itself. We've done seen over 5,600 networks, so we've automated everything on those networks. But there may be something new that we haven't seen. Our team wants to take a look at that. If they find something, they're going to do that manually. They'll write automation, add it to the platform. So, the vast majority, like 95+% of our tests, don't need any human interaction, but we got to put it in a queue and have them take a look. So we do give ourselves a few business days to do that, and we ask you to acknowledge that there. After that, you'll just hit finish and complete. It's going to run on that schedule. So if we go back to the assessments tab, anything scheduled in the future will be here. Running tests would show up here. Completed tests will show up here. So we can click into an assessment at any given time. This one has already gone through completion. If it was actively running, you could actually track it in real time as it goes through these phases of the penetration test. In addition, the activity log is going to populate in real time. So it will show you step by step what it's doing during the test. So if you want to track it and follow along during the process, you can do that there. As we scroll to the bottom, this is where we'll see the results. So the findings will show up here. Each finding will have all the details. So the root cause, it'll tell you the severity, a description, the security impact of it, the recommendation on how to fix it. And then with pen test findings, we always have evidence, right? So there's no such thing as a false positive. We're always going to have evidence to prove the finding. It'll be in the form of a screenshot. It'll look something like this for each finding. The last part of this is the final reports. So when we deliver those, they show up in the reports tab. You can get the executive summary, the technical report. You're able to get the information in a CSV if you'd like to do that as well. So this is how you access those. I'm going to walk through the reports here and show you what they look like. So this is the executive summary. It can be white labeled. It is 7 pages intended as a very high level overview of the test itself. So it'll show you the scope of work, the statistics on the test, which it's going to show you the overall severity ranking, show you if we compromise any systems or user accounts, did we gain access to sensitive data. It'll have the charts from the dashboard. If you're doing recurring testing, it's going to show you a comparison over time. We have a roll-up of the types of identified threats by category, and we do the same thing for the remediation strategies. So that's the executive summary. The technical report will be the full detailed report. So it starts by giving a definition of the severity rankings. It'll show you the discovered threats and their severity. These are the same ones we saw on the dashboard. it's going to show you the MITRE ATT&CK framework mappings. So we do map to the MITRE ATT&CK framework. It'll show you a summary of that for this particular test here. It then just shows you the full scope of work. And then we have the pen test narrative. So this is where you'll be able to see the entire attack path. It's going to go through the entire process, tell you what we did, how we did it, what we were successful doing. It's also going to show you what we tried to do that we were not successful. It will have the MITRE ATT&CK frameworks. It will have the evidence. So just going to show you a little bit of the look and feel here. It can be about 15 pages. As you can see, there's a lot of screenshots in here. But again, it's walking through the attack path all the way down to what we were able to, where we were able to gain access to the sensitive data, and it'll show you how we were able to do that. So that's what the narrative looks like. I'm going to scroll down now and show you the findings. So it'll be the same information we saw on the dashboard, but in this report here, right? So here's a finding. It was critical. Here's the observation for it, the security impact of it, the recommendation on how to fix it, and the evidence. And so that's what the findings will look like here. One other report to show you. So we've got a remediation report. So in this report, you've run a test, you've fixed issues, you want to come back, run a remediation scan and prove that you fixed those issues. So you run the same scope, it's going to generate this remediation report, which will compare the two. It's got a few intro sections, but 3 primary sections I'm going to scroll to here. So the first one shows you the remediated findings. So these were present on the first test, no longer present on the second test, indicating they've been resolved. The second section is going to show you the findings that were present on the first test. They're still present on the second test, indicating they have not been fixed. And then the third section would show you anything new we found in that second test that was not present on the first test. So this report really, it helps our partners show not only we're testing for issues, we're testing the network, but we're actually fixing and remediating the issues that we do find. So you can do that with that report there. So the last piece on the demo, we do have a help center. It's got walkthrough guides on how to do everything in the platform. We also have a support team, so they can help you with the platform. They can answer frequently asked questions. They also have, they can answer any security related questions. So when we deliver a report, if you've got questions on findings, they're able to support that as well. So that is it for the demo itself. So let's talk about the licensing model. We license it in an IP block. So you're getting a set amount of IPs each month that can be used on any client you want to. We start at 250 IPs. Those can be external IPs. They can be internal. If you're using ranges, it only counts live IPs. So if we put a /24 in there and we run the test and we identify that there are only 40 live IPs, it's only going to count 40 off of the 250 that you had that month. So to give you kind of more of an example, let's say you've got 5 clients this month you want to do pen tests on. They average at 50 IPs, right? We can do those 5 clients with the 250 IPs we have this month. Next month, you could have those same 5 clients and run another test on them, or you could use it on a different set of clients. So maybe you've got 10 clients that average 25 IPs. You could do, 10 pen tests for those 10 clients. And so, as I mentioned, our licensing model essentially pays for itself after you sell 1 pen test. So we start on a 3-year commitment. It's the 250 IPs is $315 a month, which is roughly $3,800 for the year. That is kind of like the industry average for a small external penetration test in the market by a consultant. So again, for the cost of the yearly cost, and you're paying it monthly, you can sell 1 pen test, cover it, and then all the other pen tests you do are really at no additional cost to you. If you do need more than 250 IPs, you can add those in 100 IP block increments. They are $100 for each 100 IP package that you add on to it. So still, as we scale, the cost structure still stays, extremely cost effective there. One other thing to mention, we do have sales enablement materials that we provide our partners. So those include sample statements of work. brandable data sheets, white papers, things like that. I think we even have a presentation that you can use. But we also give you a document that shows what we see as the industry average price point for, a penetration test out in the market at a particular size, right? Whether it's 100 IPs, 500 IPs, we'll show you what we see as kind of the industry average. Most of our partners are going to take that. They're going to, price their pen test to their clients at a lower price point than that, pass on some of the cost savings of the automation, ensure you win the business, but still, generate a lot of margin for you. So that does, I guess, conclude the presentation here. Let's see. I don't know if we have any initial questions.
Yeah, so I've got a couple questions here that I'm seeing. And just as a reminder, hang on for the next few minutes. We're going to go through some Q&A, and we do have an opportunity for you to I'll get this MSP success. Yeti, Matthew was asking, considering MDR, what's the best practice concerning the SOC? Advise them the pen test is happening so they don't freak out, or let them go to DEFCON 1.
Yeah. So there are controls on there are controls that should identify some of the activity we're doing. We get asked all the time, should we whitelist our IPs? Should we let them, let us get around those things? Our answer is no. We want to replicate a real world scenario, right? And security controls are in place to stop us. We want to see if they're working. You can, though, let that team know that this is happening, because you don't want them to shut something down because they think that someone's attacking them. So you do want to coordinate that with the team there.
Can the appliance VM be run under Hyper-V?
Yes, it can. So Hyper-V, VirtualBox, VMware, anything like that.
Awesome. Kind of two-part question on this. Can you repeat? I guess there was a cutout of for a few people with the pricing. What was the price of the initial 250? Yeah. So you get 250 IPs.
That's $315.
350. So 315.
315, correct.
$315 a month. And what was the average price for that you're seeing for an internal pen test?
Yeah, I mean, a small external pen test is $3,500, $4,000 for the one-time test.
And then with that pricing, it's per IP. Is that meaning public IP or private?
So it can be either. So you've got, when we do the external test, there'll be the public-facing IPs. You'll set that external schedule. You'll put the public ones in there. That's typically going to be a couple of IPs, maybe a handful, right? And then on the internal side, if you run an internal test, then you're going to put the internal private IPs into that schedule. But the 250 can be either. So you could use all 250 for public IPs or internal, depending on how you want to do it.
Hey, I'm going to do this. I know we've got a few more questions. If you have more questions, go ahead and post them up. I'm going to throw out a quick poll on here, and it's a one-question poll. So here's the deal on it. All you have to do is answer that one-question poll, and we're going to send you one of these, courtesy of the folks at Kaseya and Vonahi. And so I'm going to post that up here just right now. Here. So it's just, what do you think about the demo you just saw? I love the product, want to sign up now. I like what I'm seeing, would like to get more info, or not interested at this time. All right, so good. A lot of good feedback, Jason. So I'm gonna leave that up here just for another moment to give you the chance to be able to get that in. If you do, for whatever reason, have any issues with the poll, it'll also pop up after. If we don't have your address, just go ahead and pop it in the one that comes up after we end the webinar today. Otherwise, if we don't have your address, then we'll just contact you to be able to send it out. Here, give us a week or two to be able to get those out, because we've got quite a few from this one and one earlier. So let me see, Jason, you beat our last demo on this. Last time it was 83%. We're interested. You're at 88% on this one, so that's good. You're
Wonderful.
Getting better.
I like that. We're measuring our progress, right?
All
So it
right,
looks
so
like,
I'm just gonna end this here. So if you didn't get it, you will still have that chance when the webinar is done. What kind of access do you need to the network? Can you use RMM to access the network?
so right now, so on an external test, we don't need any. On the internal side, it's that VM that I talked about. So it's got to be deployed somewhere within the network. It's really just an Ubuntu operating system that you download and then put it there. What happens there is that once the test is ready to run, it's going to download a Docker container with our tool set. It's going to do all the work, pass up the info we need for the reports, and then destroy the Docker container. So that's how the access. And then right now, no, you can't push it through with an RMN right now.
All right. Tim's asking, do you provide a sample contract which protects the MSP in the event of a legal issue with Pentest?
Yeah, so that's that sample statement of work I mentioned. So we can
Okay.
we've got that there for you.
Awesome. And then, so someone was saying, I missed, it was anonymous on here is how it's showing.
Yeah.
I missed something, was the remediation automatic?
So no, we don't do the remediation. We provide the remediation for like just a recommendation on how to remediate, but our partners are the ones providing remediation.
Yep. And then Jesus was asking, what if we do not have a virtual machine?
I mean, it doesn't have to be a virtual machine, right? I mean, it could be deployed in other ways. So we've got a walkthrough guide on how to do that in the platform. But using a virtual machine is one of the ways to deploy it, but it just got to be put on something within the network that can connect into the network that has enough, it meets the minimum requirements for the hardware there.
All right, very cool. Well, we are at the end of the questions and we're just right at the bottom of the hour. And so great job as always, Jason, on this.
All right,
for everyone
it.
that's out there, if you did express some interest, if you were part of the 88% here that said, yes, I'm interested, we're going to pass over your information just so you're either your account manager, if you're already a Kaseya client, or if you're not, then we'll have someone that'll reach out to connect with you just to be able to talk with you more on that. I know there were a couple people on here that said, I love it, I want to sign up now. Is that we've already charged your credit card? No, I'm just joking. with that, no, we'll make sure that we get that prioritized, and our team will get it over to the Vonahi team to be able to make sure that you get that priority phone call. Because just in case you've got something that's an urgent need of being able to use this, we want to get it in your hands right away. If you don't hear from someone and you are kind of in that urgent, I want to talk, and you are a Kaseya customer, then connect with your account manager over at Kaseya, and they can definitely walk you through, get you with product specialist, any of that if there's additional questions. Jason, I think you've got, if someone thought of something, they want to just reach out to you for a quick question, what's your email address, or what's the best way to connect with the Vonahi team?
Yeah, just you can reach out to me directly. It's jasonw@vonahi.io.
Cool. All right, awesome. One more question that Tim threw in here that just came in before we wrap up. If you have a segmented network, will you need to deploy multiple devices for internal testing?
I think the answer depends there. So you do, like, if it is, different VLANs and things like that, and they're connected by like a management VLAN, then you can put the agent in the management VLAN and it can test. If it's if they're connected by VPN or not connected at all, we are going to need the agent in each. You'll have to set a schedule for each segment, including an agent, and run the test. We really can't test across a VPN. It prevents a lot of the attacks that you can do. So it just depends on how they're segmented, I guess, is the answer, and our team can work with you on that.
Awesome. All right, Jason.
All right.
Well, great call today, and we'll send out the recording to all of you in case you need to pass it around the office. You can always see things like this at mspsuccess.com. Thanks, Jason. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you. All right. Bye.